Greetings, friends, family, and survivors. Well, I am driving on crusty snow with sugar snow underneath. It's not deep, and I'm trying to get a trailer over the mountain. See if we can get out of here. That's just sugar underneath. Yuck. Not much traction when you fall through it. I'm going to get some roofing metal from an ad on Craigslist. Look at this. It's just sugar. Hardly walk in it. So here we go. Sometimes it goes through the fence, the ball, and if I don't get over here, he'll forget where he put it. He's bred a good sense of smell. Well, we got the metal home. And quite a surprise when I got there. Yep, but we did it. We had to chain up all four to get out. And the snow was about twice as steep yesterday. The sun hit it, it warmed up to like 40 degrees. And then it was 9 degrees Fahrenheit this morning, so everything flash froze as soon as the sun went down. But I bought this stuff off of Craigslist, and he told me it was 18 feet. And so when I got there, turned out one sheet was 25 and the rest of it was 24 foot, which I'm glad to have, but I would have made some different arrangements to haul it. But once I was there, and it was on a muddy hill. It was starting to defrost, so we loaded it up and got off that place while we could. And then we had to chain up coming back up the mountain because we're above the valley floor here. And you can see Saddle Mountain in the background. Isn't that beautiful? So this is our panel. It's 36 inches wide, and except for the top sheet's bent a little bit, the rest of it's really nice. It was only just a couple of years old, and the new owners didn't like the color. It's a barn roof, so it's 24-inch centers with screwed down to skip sheets. And so there's 30 24 footers, and that would be a little over $5,000. And we paid, if it was new, and we paid $600 for it. I have to show you that view. Saddle Mountain. We're a little late on our once-a-month shopping. We're 15 days late, but that's okay. Not out of anything, but that's how Carol rolls. So we bought that metal to replace this pine siding that blew up. And again, what happened with this is we've been using this stuff for 30 years on a lot of buildings, but on the other side of the Cascades. And we dry it down to about 14%, which is what wood stays on the other side of the Cascades year-round, average 14 to 17%. We nail it up with bats, and it expands and contracts a little bit, but not much. So you nail it up as tight as you can, and it's fine. But over here, this pine was out here all summer long, and it dried below 6%. I nailed it up tight. I painted it, and that afternoon it rained. It dried enough painted it early in the morning, and it was dry enough, it didn't wash any paint off. But I didn't get the bats on it. I was gonna put the bats on and then paint the whole thing again. Well, we had about 1.5 inches of rain that day with a wind from this side blowing the water. There's just not much of an overhang there. And it just soaked this, and water got down in between the boards because there were no bats. And it swelled. And then flash froze. It went down to 0. Just like that. And it blew off the wall in 2 days. And even split boards. So you live and learn, steep learning curve. And I think the best thing to do is just go ahead and put metal siding on it. And since that's 12 feet, I can cut each of those R panels in half, and I can get 2 out of each one. And I think I'll do the gable end as well and just get it to match all the way around. I'll probably leave the front of the building where the shop doors are. I'll just leave that pine. There's rarely any weather on this side, and it hasn't moved any. It's just stayed stable, so I'll just go ahead and put the bats above. And I don't think that these doors will slide past the R panel as well as it will the pine, so I'll just leave this end the way it is. I think I'll even have enough material to put an 18 to 20 foot extension out here. Thinking about it, not sure I'm going to do it this year. But long term, that's probably what we're going to do. Have you ever, well, you didn't see how it flash froze, just clear ice all the way down. Have you ever put on chains and you get your hands all rusty because your chains are all rusty? Well, there's a solution for that. Before you stow your chains, you dry them really good. Then put them back in the bags and don't leave them in the back of your truck. And then you can get out and throw your chains on and you don't have rust everywhere. Works for me. I bought a couple of bags of screws that are the right color, but I'm pretty sure Carol's gonna make me paint all those panels anyway. The other steep learning curve, I'm kind of sharing with you all of my faults here. That rock was 3 inches below the pine boards. And you can see it's not now. We haven't flooded the shop because the water level is still 1.5 inches below the slab. And it does drain off this way. You can tell the pitch draining away by how the truck is slanted. What I didn't know was how much the ground was going to swell from the frost heave. So right next to the building where there's a lot of water, the ground actually came up 3 inches. So now the bottom of all the boards are underwater. And when it starts to melt in the afternoon, I'm going to have to make sure there's a little channel right there for the water to drain through. In the afternoon, when it starts to defrost, it is draining. The interesting thing is when it rains just in a downpour, the boards are 3 inches out of the water and the whole building drains just fine. So the amount of frost heave is what was surprising to me. Yep, live and learn. So the answer obviously would have been bring dirt in and raise the slab, and I didn't want to do that. I was just out of dirt just about all the dirt that we had available on this whole build was to put dirt around the slab for the frost heave code requirement, and then the septic system took a lot of dirt. It would have been nice to have had the slab a couple inches higher, but it doesn't drain or doesn't flood the shop, so we're good. So how to keep, you know, the wood out of the water? Well, the answer is switch to metal. And on the front side where the big doors are, the pine boards are a couple inches out of the water even now, so it's fine over there. So just going to wrap the whole thing with metal, and then at the end of our panels are sitting in the water a half inch or so. It's just not going to matter. It's not going to swell up into a metal panel and start splitting everything. So I think it's the best answer, and I priced just getting corrugated roofing, the cheapest stuff I could find, and that would do just two sides, was going to be $900. So buying the used R panel for $600, and it's enough to do the entire building plus another roof. So I think it was the right way to go. We're really blessed. I just happened to be up 1 o'clock in the morning and just checked Craigslist, and that was the first caller, and it worked good. All right, hope you're doing well. Have a really blessed day.